Hello my dear friends, so good morning and I welcome you all to this new class. I hope you remember the topic that we are dealing with. We are dealing with the third lesson of geography and it is dealing with water. And we saw in the last class the availability of water. 3/4 of the earth is filled with water, but the pure water or fresh water is only just 2.5, and out of this 2.5 also almost 70% is not available to us because it is in the form of ice, glacier and so on. So what is available to us is very little, and that is available in the well, in the running water like river, rainwater and so on. Then today let us see about, due to the lack of availability of fresh water, we need to do the conservation. How to conserve water, how to do the conservation. Conservation of water. That is what we are going to see today. So it is not that easy to increase the water, but what is possible for us is to conserve, use it properly with a proper care and attention, that not to waste the water, not to pollute the water and so on. That is what is we can do. Let's take page number 24. Water scarcity and the need for conservation and management. That is our topic for today. So we said that water is abundant and water is also renewable, and therefore we may think that why there is a scarcity, or how can there be a water scarcity. That kind of thoughts can come into our mind. We said 3/4 of the earth is filled with water, and how can there be scarcity? And very often we think that in our place we have plenty of water and it may be same everywhere. That is what we tend to think. But you might have seen during the drought season, people carrying water from far away place. They have to go kilometers and kilometers, especially hot places like Rajasthan and so on. The women, they go early morning with multiple pots on their head, and they go far away to bring little water for their households. So we can imagine how much they are suffering, how much they are struggling. So that should make us aware that we are having abundant of water while others are suffering. So we should not just think that I want to be concerned only about myself. If I have water, then everything is okay. I am not worried about others. So such a kind of thinking should not enter into our mind. We are all brothers and sisters, and another person suffering is our suffering as well. We should be able to feel the pain of others when they suffer. So therefore what we can do is preserve the water, should not pollute it, should not waste it and so on. And we know the water is available in certain seasons, especially in the summer season, during the monsoon rain, almost everyone has good water. But hot regions, soon after the rain, the area becomes dry again, and they have to search for water again. So that becomes a very hard situation for them. And therefore, what we can do is we should reduce the over exploitation. For example, farmers who have got big farms, they have got the borewell or tubewell. So they pump out the water from the tubewell, from the borewell, and use it for irrigation in their fields. And if they overexploit it, then the water in the earth, water under the earth will go down. The water level will go down. And that will affect every well, every pond that is in that surrounding. So we must stop using overexploiting the water. We must use only up to certain level. Should not allow the water level to go beyond a certain level. Otherwise it will affect everyone. Then we also should have unequal resource among different social groups. Some places where there is the caste system is very strong, they say this source is only for this caste. Another caste have no access to water. They have to go and find out water somewhere. So water is a common property and we should have equal access to it. We should not divide water according to the caste wise and so on. Everyone is eligible to get that water, because water is a gift of nature and no one can produce water. So what we have, that is a gift of nature, and therefore we must share with others as well. And then we may ask, some places there is water scarcity and some places there is no water scarcity. Why? So it is because we can, and how we take care of our water sources, that is how. So one thing that we can do is increase the water level in the earth, under the earth. The groundwater level should be increased. How is it possible? How can we increase the water level, groundwater level? So we must allow the water to sink into the earth, especially from the rain. When it is raining, we must allow the water to go inside the earth. Should not just allow to flow it away. Then it will flow through the river and finally it will reach the ocean. Then we are not benefiting it, because ocean water is salty. So the fresh water that comes down through the rain, that is the main source that we have access to it. So we must not make our place sloped. We must make a lot of digging, we must make walls, we must make a terrace cultivation. So different methods we must adopt in order to make this water sink down to the earth. Another thing that we can do is we can collect the roof water, make a big tanks, concrete tanks maybe, or syntax tank maybe, whatever maybe, without even allowing a drop from the roof to fall down, must collect it to the tank, so that we can use that water when it is dry season. So this kind of methods are there and we must use it. Then only we can survive. Otherwise, year by year, the water gets more and more polluted and the people are getting a lot of sicknesses because of using polluted water. So such kind of things should not happen to us. So we should be aware about it, how we must preserve the water, how we must take care of the water source and so on. And we may ask the reason why there is water scarcity again, or which are the places there is water scarcity again. So if you consider between the town and the village, or the rural area and the urban area. In the urban area, more population is there, the population is high, more people are staying there, and therefore they will require more water. While in the rural area, the population may be less, they may have streams, water sources and so on. So they may be able to use clean water, pure water, while people in the town, they are suffering and so on. So we must make sure that as the population is increasing, we are also having that source of fresh water which is clean, and we must also keep it clean without getting polluted, because we need more water as the population is increasing. And also when the population is increasing, it is understood that we need to have more food. No? If there are only 100 people and we need 100 kg food grain, and if there are 150 people, then with 100 kg food grain we cannot satisfy. We need more food grain. We maybe need 150 kg food grains. So if you want more food grain, what do we need? We need to cultivate more. And to cultivate more, what we need? We need more water. Therefore, water is not only just for drinking, but it is also needed in order to cultivate, in order to provide food for us. So we should think about that as well. So as I said earlier, when we cultivate in order to produce more food, because the population is increasing, the demand for food is very high, and therefore there is a tendency among the farmers to exploit groundwater more and more, to pump out more and more water and over irrigate and pollute the land as well. So such kind of things we must reduce. We must not have such kind of ideas in order to worry only about ourselves. We must see what will be the consequences if I do this way. What are going to be the consequences? Such kind of ideas also should enter into our minds. And after the independence of India, we know we witness intensive industrialization and urbanization. So when we were under British rule, we had no much development. But once India got freedom, the government began to think about development, because the population was very huge, and to feed all these people, to provide employment for all these people, there should be industrialization, there should be urbanization and so on. And therefore government tried to implement all this urbanization, that is starting the cities or starting the factories to produce more things, and in order to give job for more people and so on. Then today we know there is large industrial houses and common industrial units of many countries and so on. So now we have more than 70 years already after the independence, and now we know that we have many industries are there, many the MNCs are there, multinational corporation MNC. That means a company can have their offices in different countries. That's why we are able to get foreign things in India and so on. So a foreign country can set up their business unit in different parts of the country or different countries and so on. So India has got many foreign countries have their branches, their offices are there in India. That is called multinational corporation. So they will have offices, or they will have branches in different countries. So all that is the improvement of the time. The ever increasing number of industries has made matters worse by exerting pressure on the existing freshwater resources. So as we said, the number of industries have increased by now. Number of industries, anywhere we go, lot of industries, people are setting up industries. So industries also require lot of water in order to produce something. Without water they cannot produce anything. So whether they are producing food items, or whether they are producing the big iron structures, whatever it may be, they need a lot of water. So the increase of agriculture alone, not only that, but increase of industry as well is giving a burden to the existing water sources. They are not able to provide enough water for all these purposes. And industries, apart from heavy uses of water, also require power to run them. So most of the industries, they are running with power. Machines are working with power. They need electricity. So much of this energy comes from hydroelectric power, and hydroelectric power is produced again by water. So without water, these industries will not function. So for manufacturing they need water, and for functioning the machines they need electricity. Electricity is produced by water. So again we come to water. And today in India, hydroelectric power contributes approximately 22% of the total electricity produced. So the 22% of the total electricity that is produced in our country is coming from water. So there's also other sources of electricity are there, like from the coal it is produced, from thermal power it is produced, and for solar, from wind energy. So different sources are there, but from water 22% of the electricity is produced from water. And moreover, multiplying urban centers with large and dense population and urban lifestyle have not only added to water and energy requirements but have further aggravated the problems. So as we said, from the independence onwards, we have been creating more and more urban societies. Urbanization was going on, and now the urban cities are much more than the few years ago, and therefore more and more people come and settle in the town, and they require more and more water. So it is creating a pressure on the water source. And if you look into the house, societies or colonies in the cities, we would find that most of these have their own groundwater pumping devices to meet their water needs. So if you look into the houses in the urban side, we will find most of the houses they are making their own well, their own maybe tube well or bore well and so on. So they are able to meet their water needs. They take out, pump out water from under the earth. So then what happens? So everyone is having their own pump set, their own well, and therefore the water sources are getting exhausted, getting depleted, because everyone is pumping out. We are not making sure that to send the water down to the earth, but we are only taking out. Therefore, the source will become dry very fast. So when we take out 10 liters of water, and also we make sure 10 liters of water is going down to the earth, then we can see the water level will remain same. But we are only going on taking out, and all our surroundings we put lot of cement and so the water cannot go down. Water is flowing away. So that is another problem that we are facing because of our carelessness, because of our thoughtlessness and so on. So we have focused on the quantitative aspects of water scarcity. So long we are talking about the availability of water, the quantity of water, how much water we need or how much water we are lacking. We are talking about the amount of water, quantity. Now let us also see about the quality of the water. It is not enough that there is enough plenty of water, but we also need to have good quality water, clean water, pure water is required. So the area still suffers from water scarcity, and this scarcity may be due to bad quality of water. So people may have plenty of water, maybe there is people who are staying near the sea, they have plenty of water nearby, but they are facing scarcity of clean water. So the water in the sea is not good for drinking. Or maybe there is a river, and near the river there may be people taking bath, washing clothes, from the factory waste is coming, or people going and throwing waste there. So people who are staying near the river, they don't have clean water. If they use that water, they will get a lot of diseases, because a lot of pollution is added to that river. So such kind of things are there. Water is available for some people, but they are not available in the as a good water, purified water. That is their problem. So we need to have clean water. So we should avoid pollution, especially from the domestic, that is from the house or from the industry. We should not throw waste into this. So we have to take care that we do not throw waste into this river and other water sources. And also when we do farming, people, farmers, they are using a lot of pesticides, a lot of chemical fertilizers and so on. So all these things are also sinking down to the earth together with the water, and finally it will reach the groundwater or in the river and so on. So people who are using that water, again they will be affected. So a lot of chemicals will be entering into our body when we use that water for drinking, cooking food and so on. So such kind of things are there again. So because of human activities, even the little water that is available is getting polluted, and we are making ourselves sick and so on. So we have to make sure that all these things do not take place. And even when we consider the big rivers in India like Ganga, Yamuna and so, they are all very dirty. People go and throw all kinds of things there. For some people, these rivers are very sacred, and therefore they go and immerse all the religious articles, their statues and all those things, they immerse in the water. So in that process we are dirtying the river. We call it a sacred river, at the same time we use it for throwing the waste. So that is, maybe we are doing it out of ignorance, and therefore we have to take care of our rivers. Rivers are a source of fresh water, and therefore if you pollute this river, the main water source for us will be no more, and instead we will be using all these dirty water, polluted water, and we will be making ourselves sick. So that is a dangerous thing. We ourselves are spoiling our future. So we shall try not to pollute the water sources. Maybe a stream that is flowing near to our house, let us not go and throw waste there. Let us have proper place to throw the waste. Let us keep the water clean. If you want to wash clothes, take water from the river and wash your clothes far away. Don't wash in the river itself. So such kind of things, if you take care a little bit, then we will be doing great service to humanity. Then you also might have realized that the need of the hour is to conserve and manage the water resources. So we saw about our problems, that some places no water at all, some places there is water but no clean water at all, and therefore we ourselves are the cause. We are polluting the rivers, we are polluting the field by using fertilizers, chemicals, and finally all those things are reaching to the water source, and we ourselves are polluting our water sources, and therefore we ourselves are responsible for the suffering, the lack of water that is affected by or experienced by different people. And so how can we have to think about how can we conserve water? How can we do the conservation of water? Let us see what are the methods available and so on. So over exploitation and mismanagement of water resources will impoverish. So what we can do is we should stop over exploitation. So we should not take out too much water from the ground, from the well. Otherwise the water level will go down. So mostly it is done by farmers or people who are living in the urban area, those who have got their own well. So we have to instruct them, or they have to realize that what they are doing is a great injustice to the earth. They are causing the earth to become dry, and therefore we have to avoid this over exploitation. And secondly, we have to stop this mismanagement. We have to manage water properly. We should not simply send out water. We should use only what is needed. The rest should be preserved so that it will be useful when it is dry time. And otherwise we will be making our natural ecosystem very degraded. If there is no enough water, the ecosystem cannot survive. The trees will die, the animals will die, and so on. Therefore, the ecosystem is to remain as in good health. Then we need to provide and keep this water properly, water sources. Then over-exploitation and mismanagement of water resources will impoverish this resource. and cause ecological crisis. So if you go on mismanagement with the water or exploiting, over exploiting the water, if I am concerned only about myself, not worried about others have water or not, then we are making our ecosystem impoverished, making it very poor quality. So without water it cannot maintain that good quality of the nature. The ecosystem will get impoverished, the animals, the trees, even the human beings will suffer and die. Then there will be a great crisis in the life of the people in the society and so on. So in order to avoid such a kind of great tragedy, what we need is we need to be aware about the harm that we are causing because of our different human activities like agriculture, factory, putting waste into the water sources, over exploitation and so on. We must remove all these things and we should be follow a certain proper management, not over exploiting but properly managing. That will make our ecosystem healthy and we will be able to go on smoothly for the future as well. So that is just minimum about the problem that people are facing due to lack of water, due to lack of fresh water, and what are the causes for all this water scarcity and so on. So read your textbook nicely again and again and try to understand all these reasons. Keep in mind all these important points. So we shall wind up for today and thank you for listening. Have a nice day. Bye.